Yeah, exactly. That's one of the myth busters that we all have
Yeah,
to.
it's mind blowing, man. I mean, like, he's out jumping like, you know, centre backs twice his size. Do you think
Exactly.
it's sort of do you think he's, you know, harnessing a little bit of a classic Muller, in terms of his attacking play and positioning? A lot of his time, his
he
positioning seems to be on point. Hello and welcome to another recording of the Al and Jerry Football Podcast with me and my trusty sideman, Alex.
What's up, man?
Um,
How you guys doing? How's everything? Hope everybody's well. Hope everybody's kicking and alive. The Premier League
yeah,
is really heating up, isn't it?
yeah,
This
it is. It
weekend
is, man.
especially,
It is.
it's gonna
Do you
be
think?
boiling point this weekend.
Yeah, I think it will be a big decision in terms of the title, right, this weekend.
Mm, mm.
Yeah, I saw the
Etihad,
schedule.
right?
I think. Oh, sorry.
It's gonna be on the Etihad in the Etihad, right?
Yeah. It's in the Etihad. So the first game was at
Okay.
Anfield, and that was a 2-2 draw,
Mm,
wasn't it? That was
yep.
also quite a
Yep.
close game. I think
That was a
Liverpool.
good game. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Liverpool were the ones who felt they could have um
Mm,
come out with something. I think from that game. I think after the Salah goal and everything like that. But yeah, I think it'd be an interesting game, like Al said. But I think the stat of the week definitely goes to Christian Eriksen, lah. Because
oh
I
yeah.
saw the stat
So
from a
happy for
Spurs
him.
fan saying that the last time that they had won at Stamford Bridge was when Eriksen scored, basically, right?
Mm,
So since
mm.
then he's gone to Italy. He's won a league title. He's died.
Mm.
He's come back to life. He's come to Brentford, and then he scored at the bridge. So
Yeah.
it's not really good. It's not really a good stat for Spurs fans, lah. Because like I think that was the last time they had won at Stamford Bridge, and that was with Eriksen. So
Yeah.
damn, that just shows you, lah. Huh? I'm sorry to take a shot at Spurs there, but I thought it was pretty funny.
No, but real talk lah. Really happy for him lah. Really happy
Yeah,
for him. I mean,
yeah.
given the circumstances, I think felt
Mm.
fantastic for him.
Yeah, and it wasn't like it was just a goal. I think he had quite an involvement in the game,
Oh, damn good game.
other
You're right.
goals
You're
as
right.
well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
all around, like I think, just nice to see him back in the Premier League, back scoring,
Mm.
and back in those big games as well. I think Chelsea was a big game, right? And I think the first goal that was scored by Rudiger, I think really lifted
Yeah.
up the place.
What a
To be
screamer.
honest, exactly.
Mm.
And then what happened after that? I think defensively they might have just fallen off a little bit. Maybe they were not ready because the first goal from Brentford came at the 50th minute, right? So they had held
Mm.
on until the 50th minute, and then Janelt scored basically
Yeah.
the
No.
first goal,
Yeah.
and then Eriksen
Yeah.
with a second goal, and then a third goal just 6 minutes later. So basically,
Mm.
in a space of 10 minutes, there were three goals. What do you
Mm.
say? What do you say about that?
No, I thought Tuchel's post-match comments were very telling because he said that this is just a minor blip. He says that they've been fantastic all year, and all of a sudden for the Chelsea Brentford game they just forgot to defend all of a sudden.
Yeah,
I think on the defensive part there, Tuchel is right. It was so surprising to see Chelsea like that because they're usually very solid. Rudiger is
right.
usually very solid. Of course, Thiago Silva, we don't have to say lah. He's always top marks. But
Yeah,
I thought the goals that was scored, let's not take anything away from Brentford because I thought they played
right.
really well. They were able to pick the pockets of Chelsea. They were able to press them high. They were able to push men forward. I thought players like even Ivan Toney, Brian Bemo, they all had a good game.
Yeah,
But this is the worrying thing I have because the Chelsea striker problem, I think we've all mentioned it, long and high during this whole season, both you and I. And we have to see a goal from a defender scoring a screamer, damn good goal, but still Havertz had a few chances he missed. Lukaku was very non-existent in the game. Timo Werner as well. Hakim Ziyech here and there. So now if the defense is going to drop off, or if teams are going to be, able to exploit Chelsea the way Brentford did, it might be worrying to a certain degree. But I guess at this point we could say it's a blip. But you know what? I look at Chelsea and I'm thinking 4-1 loss at home. That maybe is a raising of an eyebrow. I don't think it's a worrying point at all yet. But I think Chelsea have to sort themselves out a little bit because they've got Champions League game coming as well. I think this week. I think,
Yeah.
isn't it? So worrying signs lah. And Christian Eriksen, you mentioned he had a fantastic game. Not just the goal. Obviously, everybody's talking about the goal and given the circumstances of what happened during the Euros. But I thought he was able to really boss that midfield that was against Kante, Loftus-Cheek, and so on.
And Mason Mount.
And Mason Mount as well, and quite tellingly. So he I think Christian Eriksen still has that Midas touch to him lah. I mean, I think this is still a classy player, and well done Brentford lah on the day. Well done Brentford.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people wouldn't have expected Brentford because they've not been on a good run of form themselves.
Yeah, they've not been on form, correct? Yeah.
Yeah, and this was their 9th win of the season, basically. So, 9th win of the season would have been quite important for them. And also, I think to add on to Al's point there, I don't think it's like alarm bells for Chelsea just yet because it's their 4th loss of the season, So I guess they were due a loss somewhere there. But I think the manner in which they conceded 3 goals in 10 minutes, I think that would be what Tuchel said was they just basically stopped defending, right? And I think Chelsea have been very reliant on their defense for the season. And I think their defense have been the outperformers because they've struggled to get goals in certain games. Goals have come from different players at different times in, different parts of the season. So I think their defensive unit and that discipline has to stay on, And I think Brentford I think they probably underestimated Brentford on the day. It just shows, like how one person can change the game, and Eriksen definitely did change the game. And both of us here at Jerry, I think we're happy to see him come back, because there were a lot of question marks in whether he'd be able to, play again, let alone play at the highest level, I would say. I think having a game against Chelsea in the Premier League is almost at the highest level already. I think the fact that they're just behind Liverpool and City, and I think great game. And I guess one London team went back happy that day, So
exactly.
Yeah, I mean that was it basically in terms of that game. I think there was not much to say there. Definitely missing Chilwell and James. I think those two players. I think once they come back, and get a
definitely
good run of
big
form.
miss.
Yeah, I think once they come back and get a good run of form, things will be better. But funny to see, Al, that a team scoring 4 goals against Mendy. I think even Mendy. I don't think even Mendy expected that.
Exactly. I think one of those goals was a chip against him or something like that. I think Yannick scored a bit of a flashy goal against Edward Mendy, which we don't usually see lah.
Exactly. So moving on to some of the other games during the weekend, I guess you want to talk about you want to talk about the United fans, ongoing cardiac issues.
Man United fans, in the event you guys need to call up helplines and hotlines and just vent your frustrations. Maybe after this show we'll put down the numbers around Semenanjung, Malaysia, where you all can call those who can offer some help in form of
Yeah. To be fair, I did not manage to catch the game. I just catch bits of that game, But one of the things that I could point out there was just that there were some chances not taken, and I think that eventually sort of decided the game. Obviously, Ronaldo did not play on that day, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So it was Bruno Fernandes leading the line, right? With Pogba, Sancho, and Elanga behind him. How did you find that match out? Were there chances that could have been taken, or do you felt the game was slow? Because the first half, it seemed like the game was quite slow in that first half. There weren't many chances,
No, like if I'm being very honest with you, I think at the time where this game was being played, United Leicester, I think it's two very, very, low on form, low quality sides going at each other. I thought maybe Leicester were a little bit more structured in terms of midfield. Jamie Vardy obviously was a big miss for them, I think. I think if Vardy had played, maybe Leicester would have came back with 3 points against United. But, I think Leicester, I don't want to say they're on holiday already, but they're sort of safe and they're not really getting into top 4 or into those European places. But Man United, I think to a certain extent, they still have something to play, which is so surprising the way they did, because I thought they were really poor, Jerry. I thought, over the course of the two halves, maybe Harry Maguire had a good game. He didn't have a very good reception during the England game. So him coming back stronger, obviously, any footballer coming back stronger, I think is fantastic. But as a whole, Man United, I think just really, really poor, no real balance or structure to the team. Everybody just marauding forward without any real, quality towards an end product. They played with a false 9. Bruno Fernandes had that false 9 role, but he was here, there, and everywhere. So I didn't know what he was playing, honestly. Sometimes he was a 6, then he was an 8, then he was up top with Pogba. So for Man United, I just really don't know what to say, man. I mean, I think it has come to the point where maybe this is a group of players who are, it's their ceiling, lah. This is the ceiling that they have reached. A lot of them, they're either all underform, or they're all, or they've all just hit their ceilings. Players like Fred, McTominay. The thing is, I can see them giving their all, Jerry. I think this is the thing that sometimes, fandom gets very mixed up with, and they start slurring out words on social media and everything. I think this United players, some extent, they are giving it their all, but their all is not enough, because the quality of the Premier League is so high.
Not enough tactics and not enough.
Not enough technicality in the game.
Yeah, because
exactly.
It looks like the team is just sort of playing a very basic game plan.
Yes,
they're not having any detailed structure, maybe. Because
correct.
I think with Liverpool and Man City, they have been playing that way, and they found a way that's so effective that they can play that way pretty much against any team, isn't it? Right?
Correct.
Even Pep also said in his press conference before the game that they're going to play against 12 men in Atletico, right? So they just have to play the way they always play and try to break them down the way they are. And Atletico, you could say, is one of the most hardest teams to play in terms of the way they defend and the way they make it tough for you to break them down, isn't it? However, I think all City fans, all City players, all Liverpool fans, all Liverpool players, they're confident in the fact that they can still go out, execute their usual game plan and get a result, isn't it? But right now, the game plan that Man United's executing is not really getting any results, right? So something needs to change. Maybe some detail needs to be added there for the players to maybe take interest, right? And to get some motivation, and to try maybe different things, try something that they maybe could work together as a unit better, maybe, or something that's going to make them feel that they can take on the best teams in Europe. Maybe they don't feel like they can get that with running. But I guess the last question I want to ask you in the game there, was that a foul on Varane, do you think? Do you think
man,
do you think if it was the other way around, it would have been called off, maybe?
I think if it were to be the other way around, and if it was a reverse, Old Trafford packed stadium, the referee would have had a bit more pressure on him to let the goal stand. I think when VAR showed the cameras, repeated the cameras and how the player, I can't remember who it was it Madison? I think Madison scored the goal, but I think it was Iheanacho, I think who got Varane. I can't remember, but the replay showed that he does drag his foot. But I think being a contact sport, a little bit hard done by to Leicester. I would have thought that goal had a very good chance to stand. And United really, luck was showing there for them, because they were I thought they were really second best, and I thought Leicester, that if Tielemans was playing in his usual position, not having to play in the Wilfred and Didi role, if Vardy played, I really think Leicester would have came back with 3 points. And the fact is, with that disallowed goal, even without the players I mentioned, they could have very much came back with the 3 points. But the fact that they got 1 point, I think a bit hard done by. I thought the
there
goal
was a
should have
chance there, I think, by Rashford at the end, which I think Elanga sort of tackled him.
Yeah,
got in the way.
Yeah. Marcus Rashford, he's just not in Manchester at the moment. I think he really, I don't know what's happened to this player. This player used to be the shining bright light for Man United, but at the moment he really looks lost of form, lost of identity of the way he usually plays. It's not happening for him, which I hope that we don't know what's going on in the footballers' minds, but I really duly hope that he was not selected for England also, isn't it? He wasn't selected, right?
No, he was not.
I think he was dropped. Yeah, so it's not looking good for him. Yeah, not looking good for him. So United, lots of problems, lots and lots of problems. So we'll only have to wait and see.
The only sort of light here at the end of the tunnel, I think, is United looking for possibly a new manager to enter next season. So that will be discussed definitely along the way if we here also get some news, and I think we will definitely get to speak about it. But moving on, I guess, to I think the two teams at the top of the table are City and Liverpool. Not much really to mention on the both of them. I think both of them just got the job done in terms
very good
of
job done. Business and
the win, and also getting the clean sheet, I think, for both teams there. And I think for Liverpool as well, I think there were chances by Watford, but all in all, it was sort of a solid game, and there were not many mistakes there. I think an honourable mention in that Liverpool game goes out to Gomez as well, who came in.
He had a good game,
and ended up assisting, and Jota as well, man. How does a short man like him get so many headers?
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the myth busters that we all have to.
Yeah, it's mind blowing, man. I mean, like, he's out jumping like, centre backs twice his size. Do you think it's sort of do you think he's, harnessing a little bit of a classic Muller, in terms of his attacking play and positioning? A lot of his time, his positioning seems to be on point.
Yeah, definitely. He could be, but you know what? You were mentioning it in the previous game. See, with the way Jota is playing, the confidence he's having is just giving him that extra 1 feet or 2 feet to be able to jump higher than the rest, because he is playing with full confidence. You can actually see the spectrums between, like I was mentioning Rashford just now, and Diego Jota. Diego Jota is so confident the way he's playing, and it's telling. How can a man of this height be out jumping players who, you're right, twice his size and so on and so forth. So well done to Liverpool, well done to Jota. I thought they were professional. It was a very professional game by Liverpool. And just to add a little bit, I know we started off, we spoke about the whole City Liverpool game at the start of the show. I was watching the overlap the other day, and Jamie Carragher mentioned something about Liverpool. He said that they've not been particularly excellent, and this is not a dig, but I in a way I agree with him. There've been a couple of games, 5-6 games, Arsenal, Inter Milan, where you think that because their standards are so high, we don't see that excellent performance, like say from 2 to 3 seasons back, or last season, or no, well, 2 seasons back or so. But they're getting the job done, and I think this is so very telling of a championship winning team. You're not playing up to that level, but you're getting the 3 points. You're just, you're being professional. You're getting the job done. And the first goal was like a replica of that. Watford had like a damn good chance at one end. Liverpool got the ball up. Joe Gomez, very good pass. And, was it Mane who scored the goal? Was it?
For the first goal was Diego Jota,
first goal,
right?
Oh, Diego Jota, yeah. Sorry,
it was Gomez who crossed it to Jota, really. And he
And the second one was Fabinho. Yeah. So
Yeah,
Liverpool
second
were
one was a
professional.
penalty. Yeah, professional game. I
Mm,
guess I
mm,
think the real question marks would be on Salah right now, as he's gone, I think,
mm,
5 games without scoring a goal, right?
mm,
And I
mm.
honestly think Jota has been the saving grace for Liverpool in a lot of situations where Salah has
Yeah,
not scored. And I think
yeah.
that's all Liverpool fans want. I think they're not really concerned about. I think the only person who's concerned about Salah and his best player in the world status is him, and he's the only
Mm,
one who can affect that really. I'm not too sure if
yeah.
the contract negotiations might have been on his mind. I definitely
Mm,
think if he didn't have it sort of clouding over him this season, I
mm,
think he would be able to perform, I think, a lot more freely. I think Liverpool and Salah, I think, once end this saga, right? If he
right, right.
continues that. But I think what's most important is that new players, other players in the team, players who are not mentioned as much as Mane, Salah, and Firmino, I think
Mm,
they are
mm,
stepping up and putting in the shift. And I think that's all that Klopp wants to see. I think Klopp wants to see the likes of Diaz and Jota, you know, push
mm,
those other
mm,
players as well, the better players, you would say, when the team is not performing at its best. I
mm.
think when the team is not as dangerous as they are on the counter. I think he wants to
Yeah,
see those players take on the responsibility, because you don't want a situation where it's Salah is the one who's scoring week in, week out, and if we go
mm,
a week or two without him scoring, the team ends up
yeah.
losing or drawing the game nil-nil.
Mm,
So I
mm.
think what he wants to see is those players sort of step up and take responsibility as well. And I think the whole squad is really mature, and I think goals could come from all over the pitch. I mean, you get
All over the
Fabinho.
pitch. Yeah.
I think you get Fabinho. I think scoring what, 6 goals or 7 goals already this season, just because
Mm,
he's up to taking the penalties. I think so. That itself, I think, is a plus point. Even with Man City on that day, De Bruyne with the goal in the 5th minute. I think
mm,
Burnley had a chance just before that, but City's first
yeah.
chance they took it and De Bruyne scored. And yeah, I think it was also a solid game by them. I think not many chances by Burnley. you know,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
during that match. I think both teams also will be looking ahead to the Champions League and sort of preparing for that, right?
Mm.
Um, yeah, aside from that, there was not really much on City's side. Just the fact that
Same
they're
lah.
still
Same old
missing,
professional
yeah,
performance as
they're
well.
still missing Diaz, but it's not made much of a difference really. I think
Yeah.
Ake
Yeah.
came in for Diaz. I mean, in that last
Mm.
game and did really well as well.
He was decent.
So
Yeah. He was good.
yeah,
Yeah.
decent. So I think the
Mm,
biggest test would be this weekend for sure. And I think both
mm.
teams really be a good game,
Yeah.
to for the
Yeah.
neutral even. So moving on, I think Al mentioned to me something that was quite interesting. He said one of the games he enjoyed this weekend was the Wolves and Aston Villa game.
Mm.
And I think Aston Villa's third game, a third game lost, on the bounce.
Yep.
And I think it's
Yep.
interesting because I think Gerrard came in and had a good run of form, good run of games, really. Some
Mm.
complicating games, he got some good results and got them to a point where they're safe. So I think Aston Villa sort of they can secure their safety and think about securing their safety. But I think what they want is to move on to that next level, and that's what they're looking
Yeah.
for in Steven Gerrard. And I think in terms of effort and commitment, you can definitely see that. But I felt on that day, did you think there were too many defensive mistakes? I felt the first 2 goals were like really avoidable.
Yeah. The
They
first
weren't
one
even
especially.
great goals, Al. They were just like
Yeah.
really avoidable goals, and even with
Mm.
the young own goal, it just seemed like that back line of Mings and Konsa is not that solid. Not as solid as you
Mm.
would think, because now that the
Mm.
intensity has gone up, Al, it would
Mm.
start to, you can tell when a team increases its intensity, increases its energy, and it's trying to kick up a gear, right, and reach a next level,
Mm.
certain players will be exposed, right? Especially
Yeah.
when the game reaches a higher level. Because with Dean Smith, a lot of times Aston Villa would play defensive tactics or sort of
Yeah.
see the game out in a way that's,
Resolute lah. They were resolute.
yeah,
Yeah.
basically. But now with Stevie there, I think what he's brought on there is this really high intensity match, right?
Mm. He's
Where
a bit more
anything can
attacking.
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything can
Mm.
happen. That leaves a lot of space in behind. That's where your
Yeah.
defenders have to be solid, your defenders have to be smart, and your defenders
Mm,
cannot make any mistakes, right? I mean, you see
mm.
that with Chelsea, with the way they've defended so well this season, yet some mistakes at that high level can be really costly. Do you
Mm.
think there is a slight defensive issue there with Konza and Mings,
Um. Okay, if you're judging from the Aston Villa Wolves game, of
Yeah,
course, I would think Konsa Mings at many times could have done better. The first goal
right.
was a bit, Steven Gerrard was apparent. I mean, they didn't pan the camera to him, but the commentator mentioned, I remember, that he was livid with the amount of time and space they gave to the Wolves forwards, because the first, I can't remember, was it I think it was Podence, I think, who had a chance on goal, but it was
Yeah,
blocked.
Podence was
And
the
then
one
he
who had
went
the
to
chance.
Trincao,
Yeah, it
yeah,
was blocked.
and then he went
And
to
then,
Johnny.
yeah,
Yeah,
Johnny
exactly.
Castro
So
now. I thought he was Johnny Otto. Now he's Johnny Castro.
Johnny Castro. Yeah, and that you can't afford that kind of time and space against Wolves, because Wolves are a very technical team. I think they're fun to watch. They have some very good players. Moutinho had a really good game as well, I thought. And the first goal, again, if you're talking about Moutinho, his pass, the way it was not intercepted, that it was just defense calamity all over the pitch for that first goal. And I thought first half Wolves were getting over easy into the Aston Villa backline. Second
Right.
half Aston Villa were a little bit better, and Ollie Watkins should have finished the chance that he had. Otherwise, it would have been 2-2. Coutinho was a bit quiet. Um, John McGinn a bit quiet. Leon Bailey a bit quiet. Ashley Young scored, but on the wrong side of the pitch. So, I think with Aston Villa at the moment, it's a rough patch. I think also new manager bounce has rubbed off a little bit already. So, but I like to see them stick to their usual style, because it's a very progressive style that he's trying to bring in. Buendia, Douglas, Luis, they've got some really good young players, to be very honest with you. So, I think the defense could be helped a little bit. I think Tyrone Mings usually is very resolute. He's been called up to England, and also, he's been having a good season from last season, I thought. But it's been a rough patch for Aston Villa. And I think once these guys, Ollie Watkins, Coutinho, they all start firing again, then of course Villa will be up there. But Wolves were really good on the day, and I thought for large parts of the games, especially the second half, it was very much a basketball game, end-to-end stuff, and Villa were a little bit more pushing out the envelope, trying to get a goal. But
Mhm.
here's another stat that I saw during that game. Do you know how many Portuguese players were there in the whole starting team, including the lineup and the subs? There were, I think it was 9 Portuguese players, I think, if I'm not mistaken,
Wow.
in,
Wow.
in the Wolves team. Almost you can call them Portugal B team already, and Ruben Neves wasn't even playing.
Yeah. So
So,
that's
so yeah, well
I
done,
think
Wolves.
Trincao is Spanish. Oh, he's Portuguese as well.
He's
So
Portuguese
that's
as well. The whole
Trincao.
front three, dude.
Yeah, Trincao, Podence, Silva,
Yeah,
Moutinho,
yeah.
and Jose
The
Sa.
keeper, Jose
And then you
Sa.
have
Yeah.
Neto, Chiquinho, Semedo, um, is Gomez as well. Totti Gomez, another
Nelson
Portuguese player.
Semedo,
So,
Totti.
so
Yeah,
there's
Ruben
quite
Neves
a
wasn't
few there.
playing.
Yeah, Ruben Neves wasn't playing, right?
Yeah, wasn't playing. Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting, man. That's interesting.
Mm, mm,
I think I think it's good also for the.
yeah.
I sort of like Portuguese players and their style,
Mm,
you know,
mm,
and I think Portugal has a whole host of really young players that
yeah.
look
They do.
quite
Yeah.
interesting. I mean, even if you look at Sporting this season, with the likes of Goncalves, you look at
Mm,
Rafa at Benfica, you even
yeah.
look at Porto and you see Otavio and a few of those
Yeah,
players. I
yeah.
think,
João Felix is another
yeah,
one.
or
Yeah.
Felix. Yeah, there's a
Mm,
lot of highly rated Portuguese players, and even the Portuguese
mm,
national team looks like really spoiled for options, at the moment.
yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
you keep Gonzalo Guedes as well, from the La Liga, and yeah, I mean many
Mm,
talents there that could shine through, and it's interesting to see that I think it
Mm.
was a really good game for the neutrals as well because Bruno Lage, I think he's had a really good start to the season, if I would say. Really. I mean, he's just below Man
Yeah.
United
Yes.
right now, right? 2
Mm.
points away from United, obviously, with United having a game in hand. But right
Mm.
now, I think he's done the best he could, I think, with those two teams. You know,
Mm.
I
Mm.
mean, with this team, with this Wolves team, and I think more to come from Wolves. I think be interesting to see how they do next season because they always seem just short of that next level, isn't it?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So aside from that, I think good game for the neutrals, like Al mentioned. I think the other match that was worthy to mention here was obviously Spurs with that big win at
Yeah.
Newcastle.
Big win for them.
Yeah,
Mm.
I think it was a good game all around from Spurs. A lot of goals from their defenders. I think Doherty, Davis,
Mm.
and Everton Royale as well with a goal.
Yep. Yep.
And I think right now Newcastle should be looking to get as many points as they can. But no way Conte was gonna let Spurs lose to Newcastle. That was not. No, I don't think that was an option for anybody. but
Definitely. Definitely. Conte doesn't want to lose to his next
yeah,
club, lah.
I think we'll end sort of with the West Ham and Everton game now.
Mm. Mm.
Because I don't know that game. I think on the balance of play, it looked like West Ham had the better chances, right? And
Yeah.
they were
They
just
did.
missing all their chances, right? West Ham until who was it that scored? I think it was no, it was Cresswell. I think
Jared
that scored.
Bowen.
Yeah, it was Cresswell that
Yeah.
scored the free kick first, and I think that was a great free
Yes.
kick.
Yes. Yes. Correct. The free
And
kick
then
was in the
Holgate with the equalizer,
Holgate.
right?
Yep.
53rd minute, and it looked like
Mm.
there was a chance as well for Richarlison there, which he missed. When he
Mm.
was 1-on-1.
He missed. Mm.
But then it was Iwobi who gave the ball away again, for the second goal. And then
Yeah.
there was a little bit of I think the keeper saved it at first, and then Bowen sort of swept in
And
the.
then Bowen tucked it in. Yeah. Correct.
Yeah, so the rebound, right? He scored on the rebound. So it was Antonio who was 1-on-1 with the keeper. The keeper saved it, and
Mm.
then Bowen with the rebound. It just looks like an Everton with another red card, two yellow cards for Michael Keane on that match. Just looks
Yeah.
like, and this was with Calvert Lewin, Demara Gray, and Richarlison starting on a day. Seems
Mm.
like there's a little bit of an issue here with Everton. They just can't seem to get any results, huh? Even with Lampard there.
Now I've got to ask you, lah. Do you think Everton will go down?
I genuinely do. My uncle's gonna be pretty mad, by the way, because he's an Everton fan.
He's an Everton fan.
So
I
I've
see.
been giving him shit for his whole life, basically. And it's come to a point with Everton fans where you can't really give them shit. You sort of feel sorry for them. Because
Yeah, I
when they were
know.
sort of
What's
challenging,
going
you
on? They're a
could,
big club.
yeah, when they were sort of challenging, sort of top 10, flirting with maybe top 5 in a way.
Mm.
I could give my uncle a lot of shit, but right now I have
Mm.
tremendous amount of concern for him. So
Mm. Mm.
I think it would get really emotional if I mentioned Everton, so I wouldn't, right? But I don't think I've ever seen Everton in this position in my time. I mean, obviously, the title-winning team, Everton team, was before my time, and I never really got to see Everton in their heights. But
Yeah.
does not look too. Obviously, Everton have got 2 games in hand, so they're 28 right now, and 2 games
Mm.
would, let's say, if they win these 2 games in hand, that would bring them up to 31 points, which would be level with Newcastle, right? Which is not entirely safe as well, to be honest with you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I, I,
It
I
does
do
look
still
dangerous,
think
lah.
I do still think it could be Watford, Burnley,
Mm.
and Norwich going down. I do
Mm.
think it will stay the way it is right now, but
Mm.
I do think Everton and Leeds are in danger. Definitely, Everton, Leeds, and
Mm.
Newcastle are in danger.
No,
I
they've got to
think,
get the wins, lah.
yeah,
They
they've got
just
to
got
get
to
the
get the
wins.
wins.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. They've got to get some sort of results there because that 17
Mm.
losses does not look good, I have to say.
Yeah, it's not
Because
ideal. Playing Man
Watford,
United next.
yeah, so they are the team with the third most losses in the league this season, right? So with Watford and Norwich at 20 losses and Everton at 17 losses, that would have really hurt them, in that way.
Mm.
Because even
Mm.
Burnley has lost 13 times and drawn 12 times. That's why they're at that position. So, there could be a late push from Burnley because right now in that bottom four, right, Al, Everton and Burnley at 28 points. 28 matches, right? So they've got sort of
Yep.
3 games in hand right now, going by the league. So a lot could change. And if let's say Burnley picks up the points, more points than Everton in the next 3 games, or in the 3 games in hand that they have, it could be quite interesting. So
Mm.
yeah, I don't know. I think it's too early to call a wager on it just yet, but I guess we will see in time to come.
Mm. I think they've got to sort out their defensive issues. I still think the forwards are good enough to get the goals. Richarlison is good enough. Calvert-Lewin, I think he, I do rate him. I think that he is one of those classic number nines. But I think that the midfield and your defense, especially Michael Keane, Jordan Pickford, sometimes the goals that they just let in, it's it's too simplistic, and a club like
Yeah,
Everton should
yeah,
not be giving out easy goals like that. They are a big club with history. Of course, they've not won in a long time, but Everton going down, I think, would be a huge disappointment for the fans. I think so, but they've got to sort it out. I think we've been seeing Michael Keane. I think I've seen him giving away silly fouls and
yeah,
defensive errors. It was the story of the season for them, lah. So
yeah.
that's the other thing. The forwards got to start firing up, lah. And I think Everton, they have the quality. I think they have the quality to just nick it, not to fall into the relegation zone. But you're right, lah. It doesn't look good at the moment. Of course, they have a game in hand, lah. So we'll have to wait and see, lah.
Understood. Understood. So I guess that's all we have time for today. We will be back again with another episode next week. So that's me from Alan Jerry. Take care, guys. Thank you.
All right, guys. See you all soon. Ciao. Take care.
Ciao.